Welcome to Well, That Just Happened. I'm your host, Cody Spence.
And I'm your co-host, Mark Hawk.
This is a podcast about, do you want to tell them, Mark?
Yeah, so this is a podcast that takes a look at news stories from around the world.
Some that shock us, some that have us asking what just happened, and some that we just found interesting.
So if you like the show, please subscribe and leave a review.
We're on YouTube and any other podcast platform.
And with that being said, all that's left is, let's see what's happening this season. Alright, so what do you got for us in the news this week, Cody?
Okay, so first off, please find our ignorance charming, because this story comes from Quebec, and I don't know French, so it's some of the pronunciations might be off. But, okay, so here's the headline. Quebec man steals police car as he's arrested for stealing a police car.
What?
Put that together.
Okay, so they arrested him while he was trying to steal the police car?
No.
Or was he getting arrested and then, for stealing one car, got out and then went and tried to steal another one?
Jackpot!
Oh, wow.
Alright, so...
That's perseverance.
The Major Crimes Division of Sûreté du Quebec, probably butchered that. Like I said, find our ignorance charming. So they found this guy. He was a little bit disorganized. He was in his mid-30s. And while they were trying to arrest him, somehow he stole the police car. They did not know that he stole the car. So when more officers showed up to the site, for backup, like we have here, if someone gets pulled over, another officer, if they're driving by, they stop to see if they need anything. That's kind of what was going on. They turned around and go, "We have no police car. It's gone." So then they asked the other cops, "Can you help us find our police car?" The dude was getting arrested for just being drunk and disorderly. He stole the police car, drove off, and if I'm not mistaken, he was going... He was going down the highway. It was about 65 kilometers further down. They put another spike strip down to catch him because they activated the GPS to find out where he was going. So they spike stripped their own car. They get him out and they end up arresting him. And 2 police officers were injured in the operation.
How?
I don't know. It doesn't go into detail about how they got injured.
Okay, so they put the spike strip down to stop their own car that the guy stole. And then after that one became disabled, the people that came after him, then he tried to steal the new car that wasn't disabled.
Yeah.
That is ballsy as hell, man.
that was the one where I'm like, how the hell? Like, I get the first time. Last ditch effort, I'm gonna try it. Then, and you get caught. Who goes, second time's a charm?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I read that. And because I part of me kind of imagines, the police officer, because you're those guys who show up to help the other people, and they're like, "We lost our police car. He took it." You can be like, "You guys are idiots." And then he tries to take your car, and you go, "I see how he did it."
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right.
Can you imagine if you had got away with it the second time? And then you had 4 cops standing there.
I don't care what his charges at the point. At my mind, I'm like, dude, you were a legend.
Yes, definitely.
In the same span of 2 hours, you stole 2 police cars, and got away. All right. So the next story. This one actually made it to Sex sent me to the ER.
Oh, that's a messed up show.
Man has sex with wife through door but ends up in hospital after penis gets stuck.
Oh, wait, why?
Because he took male enhancement pills. Okay, so what happened, this individual's name's Eric. So he decided to play role play with his wife. He was working on the door, pretending to be just like a repairman or something, changing out the locks. And him and his wife kind of were getting hot and heavy, so
She tried to give him oral sex through the door?
No, they were actually having regular sex through where the door handle's supposed to be. Well, he popped some male enhancement pills. While he was having sex with her, alright, it was a wooden door, so there's splinters and stuff. So he felt that kind of jab. It's like, we kind of got to stop. But at that point, he was so swollen up from the pills that he took, he just kept getting bigger and bigger and couldn't get out the freaking hole.
Okay, I mean, I get that it makes you hard, but I mean, could it really make it like fucking swell?
I don't know. Maybe the dude was packing like a horse.
Okay, it must be. I mean,
You
look at the door handle, freaking hole.
Right. All right. That's fair enough. But still,
not the knob size, the one behind it.
he could have been a bad carpenter.
It could be.
But first off, the part that I want to talk about was that's a pretty messed up fantasy.
To have sex through a door?
Yeah.
Kind of.
In my mind, okay.
But to be fair, there are other things, as you talked about the one episode about the furries. So it's okay to dress up as a donkey and have sex, but it's not okay to stick your pee-pee through a door hole and have your wife on the other side? Come on now.
I could see a doggy door. Because
how's that gonna work?
It's pretty much the doggy position.
Well, I guess.
And all you gotta do is plop that flap up or whatever, or take out your plate in the middle, and you got more opening, more control. But there's no part of me that's like, I want to try to have intercourse through the door handle.
Yeah.
But, so what ended up happening is paramedics had to be
I guess
called.
if your wife's flat-chested, it doesn't matter.
So the paramedics were called, and they had to cut out, like, a square. And, like, he had to actually take a square chunk of the door around his cock to the hospital for it surgically to be removed.
Oh, man.
It's on that Sex Sent Me to the ER, and his wife's name is Katie, by the way.
I mean, does it have a picture of the wife?
No, it's just the reenactments. Characters.
Okay. Well, I've just been trying to, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. It's a weird thing, but like I said, man, there's so many kinks out there and different possibilities. Like, I mean, we've talked about it before. You know, you get on Pornhub, you watch one thing, next thing you know, you're not even masturbating. You're just like, well, that's messed up. Ooh, that's even more messed up.
Yeah.
And you go through 6 videos, and by the time you're done watching, you don't even do anything.
Mm-hmm. And then you sit back and go, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
All right, so
that just happened.
The next one that I found, this is the one, it's not necessarily funny, but this one, you can kind of almost set up like a Mad Lib. Okay, so woman found missing for several weeks, found naked in a Delray Beach storm drain.
Oh, dead?
No, alive.
Oh.
Yeah. So Delray Beach is in Florida. It's South Florida. So what ended up happening was an individual went missing. She was gone for quite a while, for a few weeks, and they sent out a rescue team, and they found her on South 11th Avenue. And what happened is somebody heard like screaming and yelling coming, and when they went over and kind of investigated like where the sound was coming from, there was a woman completely naked, stuck in this storm drain. So, remember how I said I'm terrified of it?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking like one of them things?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hey, there is no way in hell, if I hear noises coming from that drain, I'm going anywhere near it.
Okay, is that what she did though? Got naked and slid into one?
Like I said, there is no story, because she doesn't remember how it happened. So there's no story to explain how she got in there. None. So she could have been drugged and put down in there to die. She could have, got all messed up on drugs or something and found her way in there to, like, hide from someone.
Wow.
Or, like, basic paranoia. But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a Mad Lib. So think of a scenario that would make you want to jump in the storm drain.
I just can't. But like I said, everybody's got their kinks, something to, fantasize about. I mean, maybe her fantasy was clowns and it, and, she's like, he ate Georgie with that big mouth. My turn.
But yeah, that was just something, like, I just kept thinking over and over, I can't understand how you would get into that. Why would you go down in that hole? Why would you, and how did she survive? She was gone for weeks.
That is very, very messed up.
Like, I'm wondering, did she survive off of, like, runoff? Like, if it rained or something like that? Or if there was think of, like, gross, old, moldy food or something down there.
Oh, man.
But she was so disoriented and everything when they got her. Like, there's no details. She has no memory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little messed up.
Yeah. But that was one of the things where I was kind of like, I don't know. It popped in my head almost immediately.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Okay, and so this next one, Mark, do you love your kids?
Yeah.
Would you do anything to help them out?
I mean, there's limits.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you assault another child with your kid?
It depends.
Okay, so
what they did. I mean,
here's the story. Police. Florida mom shows up to daughter's school wearing boxing glove. Fights child, gets arrested.
Nice.
Okay, so Edith Riddle, 34, arrived at school wearing a boxing glove.
Just one?
Yeah, just one. So when she's questioned about it, she says it's super glued to her hand and she can't take it off. And people buy it, apparently. So she's going there, and she picks up her daughter. And while they're there, there's some kind of conversation that ensues. Then her daughter ends up going to the cafeteria. So they get to the cafeteria, and her daughter proceeds to push the victim. And argument ensues. There's confrontation where the daughter and the victim become physical. They start punching each other. Well, the mom decides, I'm gonna hop out my little sweetie. So she jumps in with that boxing glove and just starts knocking.
Wow. Okay, that is.
I mean, yeah, she's going to town.
That's a dedicated parent.
You gotta think. In my mind, she knew what was about to go down. She had that boxing glove. She knew, we're scrapping today.
I guess in that situation, she wasn't trying to, like, kill the kid. Just knock him out.
No, she just saw her daughter was expressing herself, and she wanted to be supportive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the gist of what happened. This was, like, right around lunchtime and everything.
Wait, is that her?
Yeah.
Oh, she's on drugs.
So she is getting charged with, I don't know why this part was important. I do want to talk about this. They've made sure to put this in the police report that Riddle and the victim are not related. I don't know why that matters. But she's being charged for one count of child abuse with personal special weapon.
Okay.
But yeah, those were the news stories that I found, and that last one, to me, that was the one that I read it and went, what? And then, like, the more and more I read, I'm like, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't from, like, 2010. Like, this just happened in March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess.
Way to go, Florida.
Yeah. All right. So this week in the news.
It's like you got a brain fart there. You were like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, so an Italian bodybuilder killed his parents after they asked him to walk the dog.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so a 30-year-old killed his parents for his dad calling him out for being lazy because he played like a video game on a computer, fell asleep, and his dad, called him out for being lazy and told him to walk the dog. So he took a climbing rope and killed his dad.
Okay, not
And
funny
then,
anymore.
and then when his mom came home, he killed her.
Why? What'd she do?
I mean, he killed his dad, so she came home and was a witness. Process of elimination. And then he dumped him off a bridge. And then they charged him with murder and body concealment. And then he said, I did it without saying goodbye. Like, that was his big regret. Not killing his parents, that he didn't say goodbye first. I mean,
wow.
And then, all I could think about.
How old was this person? Did you say 30?
30. And his parents were like 63 and 68. And all I could think about was how many times I called my son out. And I was like, oh, wow, is this going to happen to me? But yeah, just for being called out for being lazy and not walking the dog, I mean, that gets you killed.
I got questions. One of my first game. What was he playing?
It didn't say that in the article.
Like, I mean, if he's going around in GTA and killing hookers and stuff, he's already in that mindset. I mean, I get it, how he could have jumped to that kind of aggression, or like if he's killing or playing like Call of Duty or something, some kind of violent game. I'm not saying that violence and video games correlate, but I'm saying
I mean, you're 30
if you're in that where your like tensions are already high because you use Call of Duty, you're playing like a game online or something with all your friends and you're losing, you start getting angry, whatever. But dude, for the dog, what happened to the dog?
It didn't say anything. I don't think he killed the dog. I also don't think he took it for a walk.
Well, I mean, that's busy. Yeah, that's kind of my next thing. Like, yeah, I don't. I think, does he kill the parents, then sit there and just stare at the dog and go over and go, "Good boy," or like
to me, you just look at it. Look what you made me do.
Mm-hmm. And the dog just sits there. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's so crazy over just being called out for being lazy. I mean, you fell asleep, you got called out for it, like, all right, my bad.
So it kind of makes you wonder, though, if there was some kind of like underlining kind of form of abuse that was going on, whether or not like on him or something. But there has to be some kind of underlining tension, I feel like, to get to that point. Because if it's like every day he's
I
getting
have an idea.
berated by something.
I mean, he's 30 and he lives at home.
No.
That would, be... You kind of deserve to be called out for being lazy if you're a 30-year-old living at home.
But a climbing rope. I think you said that's what he used, right?
Yeah.
Climbing rope. That's some heavy rope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just kind of, choked his dad out. They fell in the hallway and whoop, daddy's no more. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
So, all right. And the next one. Horny burglars unaware babysitter is home.
What?
Yes.
I think I know where this story's going.
Okay. It's kind of like your theater story.
Okay.
So what happened is Alex Ray Yakeley and Amanda Lentz, a PA couple, romped around a New Jersey home having sex and eating food. The couple broke in the house, did the deed, while babysitter and child were in the house. And investigation led them to believe they were in the home for a while before they were discovered. The babysitter heard Lentz on the baby monitor and thought the homeowners returned. The babysitter confronted them, then they left, and they stole jewelry, wallet, and a phone and a Lincoln Navigator. And they tracked the phone, and then they laid down a spike strip, which led the vehicle to go into the ditch. But when it said, and I looked all through the article, when they said they heard Lentz and thought the homeowners had returned, like you would think that would be the first thing you do is alert the babysitter, hey, we're home. Yeah. Like if you heard her on the baby monitor and they didn't tell you, I'm wondering if she heard them performing the deed on the baby monitor.
Yeah.
Because, she let them go for a while.
Yeah.
And then eventually confronted them.
Do we know how old the babysitter was?
No.
Like, I'm wondering, is it like, because I know a lot of babysitting, I think like a normal age is like 11 somewhere, like the 12-year-olds, they kind
I'm
of
thinking like
start.
13, 14, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
I know
But
it's young teenage years is when it
yeah,
normally starts. So I'm kind of wondering if the babysitter's around that age and just didn't know how to react. But and I'm also kind of curious too because a lot of babysitters, they meet the parents beforehand. They might babysit for the same family a couple of different times. So if it's somebody who they've met the parents multiple different times or whatever, you'd feel like you'd be able to recognize. And do we know how old the kid was?
no, it didn't say anything about the
I mean,
baby.
baby
Just
monitor, I'm going to assume at least a toddler.
that's what I'm thinking. But to hear the people I think that she had to have heard him having sex.
Yeah.
Because why else would you, if you hear like a parent on the baby monitor, you think you would go say, "Oh, you guys are home" or something like that.
Mhm.
But it said she waited a while. It was like 10:30 at night when she finally went to see what was going on.
Mm. One thing I'm curious about is when she confronted them, did they have clothes on?
Yeah, they were stealing at that point. Like pretty much, they had sex, they ate, then they started stealing stuff, and then when they got confronted, they're like, "Oh, they
What is
left."
up with couples breaking in places and having sex?
I don't. I guess the adrenaline rush. You're
I
in
get
that
it, but
moment.
okay. So one of the big things that we have in the modern day is DNA.
Yes.
That is a terrible thing to do. To have sex at a crime scene.
Well, and you steal someone's phone, and
Yeah.
that's how they got tracked and found. Like stealing the car is bad enough because they're also the GPS, the
Yeah.
LoJack on it. They could find that out. So I feel like, yeah, when you already break into someone's house, have sex, your DNA's pretty much already there.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking it through.
No. I'm assuming drugs were probably involved.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. Okay. So, all right. Maine considers legalizing Viking funerals.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess this topic has been kicked around a few different states. Like one governor vetoed it because they were going to legalize it there. But yeah, like basically they're letting you have like that open air crematorium. And like they have to have at least 20 acres of land, and the ashes of the dead can be scattered either on the funeral property or anywhere else that the law allows.
Huh.
Of course, there was critics on both sides.
Yeah.
Some people saying like, you're lighting a body on fire, like that's probably not good fumes for you to be breathing in, being that close proximity. Someone said on there that like 1,500 feet away, you should be good, but you take the fillings out and that, so that doesn't burn. But I honestly love the idea. Like I want to be cremated, and if I have my choice, that's how I want to go. So, if I ever get diagnosed with something that I'm going to die, I'm going to Maine. If they, actually legalize it.
One of the things I've always said about my funeral is I'm dead at that point. I don't really care what happens to me.
But how badass is that to go out, land on a boat, and somebody shoots an arrow at you, and you catch on fire?
That is badass. Like my alternative that I wanted to do is throw my body in a cannon and try to shoot me across the Grand Canyon, or something. Let's set the world distance for how long the furthest dead body's ever been flung, and turn it into a game like a raffle. Or like who's gonna say he hits 250 feet, or just do
See
it
if
like
you can
that.
make it hit at least the side of the inside of the cannon.
Yeah, you do that, then whoever was the closest, they get a prize.
Or pay for your funeral.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Okay, this last one. Wow. Okay. Mother sends deep fake nudes to get her daughter's cheerleading rivals kicked off the team.
Deep fake nudes?
Yeah, like what she did was like pretty much Photoshop her daughter's rivals that were on the team, naked photos of them smoking and doing drugs and everything to try to get them kicked off the team.
Wow.
And I mean, she not only did that, but also went to get like a fake number and started messaging these kids telling them you should just kill yourselves.
Okay, that's too far.
Yeah.
Um,
So, it almost goes to where, again, another story like the boxing glove incident.
how far do you go for your kids?
Yes, that's basically what the article said.
It's kind of, in a sense, her heart's in the right place, but she did not not go about it properly. So, that one's it's kind of tricky. I think that's something I'll talk about in the wrap up.
Yeah. Okay.
In our weekly wrap up, we discuss some of our personal opinions and ideas. So let's see what we thought this week.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to touch up on that last story that we covered?
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about with that one was mainly because you want to do all you can to help your kids out. But there has to be a line, that you can't cross. And one of the other things too, like, one, you can't tell somebody else to go kill themselves, especially kids.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's way out of line. But two, to go to that level, like, there's a level of psychosis, in my opinion, there. If you're going to that point of manipulating photos, to mentally, I don't know, mentally damage another human being, to manipulate their life, to all doing it. Yeah, so you might have like the right intentions, but the level of going through, like you said about getting like a fake number or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, messaging from a fake number,
Yeah.
so that way he wouldn't be able to
And that
tell who it was. Because, I mean, obviously, if she used a real number, that's definitely a big red flag. You're getting busted right away. However, the mother still got arrested, they said, like,
how did
later
she
on.
get caught?
Because they did an investigation and pretty much tracked everything back. That's the thing. Like, unless you get a burner cell, yeah, even then, you have a chance of being tracked. But, like, basically, the teenager said, I don't smoke, and let her parents know. And then, after the investigation, she got arrested and charged. And, she's going away for quite a while.
I could imagine so. I mean, any kind of crime that has to do with children is taken very seriously.
But if you get some rivals on a team or you don't get along, you just encourage your child, hey, maybe this isn't for you. If you're having this much conflict, it's causing you any kind of pain, you don't try to eliminate the other people altogether. That's just pushing it too far. Yeah. And now, not only did the whole story come out, and your kid now looks trash.
Oh, I would assume guilty by association. Like, no.
And it did say that the child was unaware of what her mother was doing.
I believe that, but kids aren't going to perceive it that way. Kids are going to see it as they were in on it together, and she's now going to be probably perceived as untrustworthy. You're just like her mom, like crazy, like all that kind of stuff. So when her mom's heart is in the right place to try to help her child out, I feel like she's caused way more damage now, and she's
you
not
got that
going to be
psychological damage. You got all that
psychological, emotional, and
now you're without your parent.
Yeah, the person who did all the crap, and now you have to suffer for it. So yeah, that's a rough one. It's actually kind of hard to find humor in that, in that one. Just mainly because it's the emotional level of being a parent.
I mean, they were fake nudes, so it wasn't like she got in trouble for like pedophilia or minor kind of things like that. But at the same time, I would have charged her with that for faking that, and putting the heads of them girls on the naked body and that, and because it was like posting pictures of them doing drugs and smoking, and they didn't smoke or do drugs. And
it's slander.
Yes, and defamation of character, all that, and it definitely, until you find out it's fake, that could cause a lot of emotional abuse for them people who didn't do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because they didn't like your kid.
Yeah, you think of the element of, being in school. You have like the boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, all those dynamics. And when these kind of like fake nudes are being sent around, like it's instantly going to cause tension in that relationship, even if it isn't that person didn't participate in it, that's going to cause trust issues. It's going to cause a lot of problems, especially you factor in the whole drugs and smoking and everything like that. Like we said, that's defamation of character. Yeah, that kind of stuff, if gone unchecked, can hurt like a college entrance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Scholarships, that's way out of line. The other thing I want to talk about for the wrap up, Viking funerals. That's just so awesome. Like, okay, so I watched the show Supernatural, which I know you did too, and I remember like every time like a hunter died, they did the hunter funeral. I'm like, that's really cool. And then you factor in like pretty much you'd be doing the same thing. Boating that thing out, put it on a boat, send it out to the water, and you just got somebody back there, launches up and then sets it on fire. That's awesome. I love that kind of like time, like Renaissance time, Viking time. Like I think that's really cool, and
a lot of medieval times they did it because you got to figure, man, if you have a funeral send off like that, that puts you in like the category in my mind, like King Arthur and all. That's how them people when they died, they got treated at the aftermath, like big time warriors or chiefs or any important person back in the day. That's how they got to be.
And I feel like one thing with that too is like it's kind. If you go to like a funeral now, a lot of the times, it's very. I mean, there's all these speeches and it's very heartfelt and everything like that. But I feel like if you put in like a Viking funeral, that's more uplifting. It's more of an upbeat kind of thing. I mean, yes, it's sad that somebody passed away, but you're gonna go watch a spectacle, an event. Like you're gonna go watch, for lack of a better phrase, a carnival performer light somebody you love on fire.
Well, not only that, but you got to figure the cheapness of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just get some logs together, like a little raft. Put maybe. I don't know if you have to dump kerosene or whatever on them but yeah, that's how I want to go. Like, honestly. And it's an open air crematorium. You get to watch your loved one be cremated, maybe that's a little twisted
in a sense, though, that to me would be more of an emotional connection than I go send my loved one to get cremated and I get an urn back. Because in my mind, you're watching that final. In a sense, it's kind of like an extra form of closure, is the way that I'm looking at it. Because you're watching that body go back into like the atmosphere. You're watching it dissolve into the air and everything like that. Rather than like you put a body in a casket, let it in the ground, it's going to degrade over time. Same with like if you go to a crematorium, you get back the ashes.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you give your loved one to somebody else, they go cremate the body, and they bring it back to you. Like, this way, you're still part of that whole experience.
True.
That's the way that I'm choosing to look at it.
Yeah. All right, and before we are done with this, I feel like, again, after the guy breaking into the house with a debit card, the person who left a half-ate sausage on the counter, DNA will get you busted. I mean, in this case, they didn't have to wait for that because they took someone's cell phone and got tracked. But when you have sex in someone's house and you're naked in their bed, I mean...
Who knows? It might not even have been on the bed.
I mean, I don't care where you're doing it. But the fact that you're having sex in someone's house, they can track you with DNA. Like, I don't know, unless you're wearing gloves while you're having sex. To me, that's weird. But... I mean, so is breaking into someone else and having sex.
But the thing with the whole breaking and entering and, robbing these places and everything, what is up with the fucking snacking? I don't get it. Like,
I mean, when you have sex, you get hungry.
Yeah, I know, but why do we keep coming across stories that involves somebody breaking in somewhere and getting food? I mean, we had the guy, he ate that hot dog or the wiener sausage and he left it on the counter. Like, take it with you. And so, my mind, now I'm starting to get to the point if I read any kind of, like, a robbery story, I'm like, what do they snack on?
Yeah.
Because if it ain't in the article, they did it because that's too many common instances where somebody did it.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. Now, whenever I see something about a robbery, I'm going to be like, okay, did they eat something?
Yeah.
Did they put that in the story? Because that's 3 now.
Yeah.
Well, no, the guy with the debit card, he was just looking for a necklace. Didn't say he ate anything that
No.
time. But these last two, yeah, well, it's people that have sex eat. Maybe singles don't do that.
Nah. No, because the sausage thing.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't have sex with anyone. He just broke in, stealing some stuff, and got hungry.
Okay, I was thinking of the movie theater
Yeah.
couple, they ate. Okay, definitely if you have sex with someone, you get hungry afterwards. And apparently that one guy got hungry. I don't know. It must take a lot out of you to steal someone else's stuff.
I don't know. But I would like to know what the snack of choice is.
I would too. Now back to the naked lady in the storm drain.
Okay.
If I'm the one who finds her, like I hear screaming and I look down and there's a naked lady standing there, I mean, depending on what she looks like, I guess. Like, smile for the camera. Like, I don't know. Like, that, oh, man, that would be so crazy. And the fact that she don't know how she got there
Yeah.
is a part, I guess, that baffles me the most. But, I mean, what a story to tell your kids someday.
Yeah.
Like when they're talking about crazy stuff they've done. Oh yeah, well one time I ended up naked in a storm drain for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, think about like when we were growing up. Well, at least when I was. Back in my day, we didn't we walked all the way to school uphill, and we didn't have a bus. And then she could be like, "Oh yeah, you're complaining that you have hard math homework." I woke up in a storm drain I was in for 3 weeks. Top that.
Yeah, man.
And
And the not knowing how you got there, drugs have to be involved.
yeah.
I mean, not saying that she did them herself, but I mean that's the thing. You got to watch nowadays when you're in a bar too that nobody's spiking your drinks.
Yeah.
I mean it.
And I think too one of the things was when she was in the hospital and they're trying to get her to put things together, she's having a hard time differentiating from what's fact and what she's just making up to psychologically to just make herself feel better, or make herself be able to cope with what happened. But like I said, that was something that I found so interesting was the fact that there's no story on how she got there. It literally could be 20 different things.
Well, and the fact that she doesn't really know either is.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the mysteries. If that was me, I would personally not be able to let that go.
No.
Like,
No, because like
that would haunt you.
yeah, because I mean they're not. It's not like they're. It's not like it's a giant hole. It's like a giant opening or anything that you can just like slip and fall into.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at when you talk about that storm drain. I mean, the only thing I could think of with the part being naked is so you can slip it down through there.
Yeah. In my mind, somebody thought maybe they killed her and threw her down there to dispose of the body. That's the only thing that I can kind of think of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because those openings are probably about that
Yeah.
big, and that's something. I mean, like if she's drugged up and they think that they have actually killed her because she had injuries on her.
Yeah.
She did have injuries, but nothing. At this moment in time, this is 3 weeks after the fact of when it could have happened, so her body naturally starts healing. But yeah, I mean, forcefully being pushed down there in that tiny opening, you can make someone fit down there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
you'd have to be a pretty small person to fit. Though.
Yeah.
That's just baffling to me how that happens and how you don't know.
Right.
All right, but back to the lady with her kid beating on another student. I guess when you're saying, would you do anything for your kid? Like, I could see if that other student was picking on your kid or, they were like 2-3 times their size and constantly making their life hell and you were standing up for your kid. But you said that her kid went went after this other student.
Yeah, she started it. For sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if she did that because she knew her mom was there to be backup and get tagged in.
I think one of the things about it was, all right, the mom was called to the school to pick the daughter up. And I'm assuming it's probably for some disciplinary thing. What I'm thinking happened is the daughter and the victim probably you know, you remember high school.
Yeah.
You know, the teenage bullying and stuff like that. There's probably some kind of conflict going on between them, whether, you know, one person's dating the one that, someone that person likes, you know, the high school drama.
Yeah.
And, you know, when they're on their way out of the school, they're going by the cafeteria to see that person, still kind of fueled, whether it's, you know, because they're getting kicked out of school for the day or whatever, going and confronting that person. But the part that baffles me the most is the mom jumping in. She came there wearing a boxing glove.
And how did the mom get in the school? Since it's nowadays. And not, you know, before you could walk in the school, go right to the office, sign your kid out, whatever. Now, I mean, you got to ring the bell. They look and see who you are. You got to tell them why you're there, who you're there to see, all that.
Yeah, well, they asked her what's up with the boxing glove, and she said it was super glued to her wrist and she couldn't get it off.
Oh.
And they let her in.
Wow.
And then, obviously, a child was assaulted.
I'm sorry, I know, like, you feel bad for the kid who got beat by the mom, but the fact that the mom went to the school with that boxing glove on and was like, this is about to go down.
Yeah, yeah, right?
You know, premeditated plan like that, I mean, you have to be committed.
You cannot say, that's a crime of passion.
Yeah,
you showed up wearing a weapon. The only thing I think that would make it worse is if she had brass knucks up underneath that.
Maybe she just got her nails done, didn't want to break them, you know.
It's possible.
Something.
And the thing is, she's wearing one boxing glove.
Yeah.
Not two, just one. And I if I'm not mistaken, it was on her right hand.
Well, I guess, you know, she wanted to make sure she held it with the left and really got that hit in there.
Yeah. In my mind, too, it's like, if she knew this was going to go down, is this supposed to deter the evidence when you do it in a room full of witnesses?
I mean, what do you say if you're the kid's parent who that happened to?
Yeah.
Like, do you go after the school, or...
Oh, no, the mom clearly said, oh, yeah, we're pressing charges on that woman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, they flat out, we are definitely pressing charges. I can't, like, that actually just made me chuckle more, because I can't imagine me being the parent of the victim just going, yeah, he kind of deserved it. Like,
but,
I mean, it's different when
the thing is, I understand, I mean, to me, I would ask the parent, how did you get that boxing glove super glued on your hand? Why are you wearing them in the beginning, you know, to begin with? And
why is it only the one?
And why is it the one? And why are you showing up to the school like that? Like, you can sit outside and wait for your student to be dismissed. Like, you're not coming in.
I guess one part that kind of baffles me is there's nowhere in the report where they said, take it off. Like, they might have said, why are you wearing that glove? And she's like, oh, it's super glued on. I'm like, oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in the school like that, and, like, to me, if I'm that other kid, all right, your kid coming up to me, harass me, and I see you in the background with a boxing glove, and like, this ain't anyone for me, I'm out. I'm not just gonna... That's weird.
It's getting laggy.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess that's all we have to say on that is, wow, that the school let that parent in, and I don't know. I feel like the parent needs charges pressed against them, and the school needs to take some accountability for that as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
Well, that just happened.
If you like what you heard, tune in next week to see what else we find.
Also, please leave a review, a like, and subscribe.
If there's something you think is interesting and would like us to address, then reach out to the show and let us know.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you want to reach us.
And with that being said, this concludes our episode of Well, That Just Happened.